We all know that Tua Tagovailoa, on a nationally televised island game against Buffalo, Tua suffered a third concussion. At least, it might be 4 or 5, who knows, but at least 3. And it happened on an island game. In his NFL career, he's been marred by concussions. Now, many people have written think pieces saying that Tua should retire and that he can never play again and all that kind of thing. So we have new information out, though, if you have not heard, maybe not. We are told that Tua Tagovailoa is preparing to return to the Dolphins. He's hell-bent on playing again, at least that's the story, and not retiring, not leaving his NFL career behind. So the tell, if you will, is that the Dolphins they're not actively trying to acquire a quarterback. They have cornered the market on suckbag quarterbacks in Miami. Right? They just don't have anyone who's any good, and if they can't run the ball, they're not going to be able to win any games. They already won one against Jacksonville, but if they can't run the ball, they don't have a quarterback. They're screwed, right? And so everything is pointing towards Tua Tagovailoa at least attempting to come back. Now, he's not eligible to come back until, I think, week 7, so there's still several more games to go before he's allowed to come back. But let us discuss the question. Dolphins injured quarterback Tua Tagovailoa apparently wants to play again this season. How does this all play out? How does all this play out? So I've got Rubber, Goblin, and Ted Nugent. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make tires. You'll hear more about tires coming up in a little bit. So number 1. That's number 1. There are a bunch of words that are being tossed out about Tua Tagovailoa, and at this point, it's all empty. There's no there, if you know what I mean, right? This is like a marriage situation. I know it's a business relationship. It's like a marriage, and they're in a contractual agreement here. It's an arranged marriage, and you really have to look at the fine print. Because Tua has publicly indicated, he has to publicly indicate that he wants to play for the Dolphins, even if he doesn't want to play again. Even if Tua says, I hate football, I never want to put a helmet on again, he can't say that. He has to play the game, right, and say that he wants to come back, because if he says, I'm retiring, that's it, I'm done, as I understand it, then he would end up losing millions and millions of dollars. So he has to go through the bureaucracy of the NFL. And the Dolphins, on the other hand, they have to say they want Tua back, because if they don't, either way, if he wants to play, they got to pay him, right? He's under contract, and so they have to honor the deal. But where the rubber meets the road is when we get to the point, I guess it's like hockey. I think they still have this third man in, right? So you got the Dolphins on one side who have to allow Tua back. You've got Tua on the other side that wants to come back, allegedly. So third man in would be a brain surgeon, a brain doctor, a medical practitioner who will determine whether or not they want to sign off on allowing Tua to come back to the NFL. And as long as he has all of his faculties and you tell him, here's what could happen, X, Y, and Z, if you play and he wants to play, that's on him. Then you can medically clear Tua. The issue becomes downstream liability. That becomes a problem, but assuming you have everything vetted by lawyers and you have an independent brain doctor, then there is a path for Tua to come back and play for the Dolphins. Now we go to Cleveland, where Deshaun Watson, that's my quarterback, not my quarterback, your quarterback. Well, Deshaun Watson wants you to know that he is not a running back, and just to prove that, let's go to the audio tape.
If I don't have to run, I'm not going to run. So
really?
I'm not trying to take any hits.
More designed runs.
Because I'm not a running quarterback in a sense. I can make things happen, but I'm not trying to run. I'm not a running back. That's not my specialties. You know, they signed me to throw the ball, make decisions, and be a quarterback, not a runner.
All right, so that was the creepy quarterback, as we call him, Deshaun Watson, who pushed back on the idea that the Browns should have him run the ball more designed runs for the quarterback, saying he's not a running back. So how does that one hit you? So it's on brand. Deshaun Watson, ever since he got to Cleveland, has been a hot mess, and this continues, and it's like he's in goblin mode, just disheveled and just a hot mess there with the Brownies. Most of the quarterback's job, maybe I'm wrong on this, you can correct me, but most of the quarterback's job is decision-making, right? Decision-making. When you hold it, that's fine, but you're more likely to get sacked. But when to hold it, when to throw it, when to run, and are you making the right decision? And the evidence, the overwhelming evidence, beyond a reasonable doubt, is that Watson, more times than not, is not making the right decision. Now, many people have pointed out the Browns' offensive line sucks. And it is true, there are backup offensive linemen playing for the Browns. However, there are ways you can mitigate an offensive line by making quicker decisions, right? Watson is being paid a premium to play quarterback, but he's being paid a premium, and he's provided nothing but piecemeal results. So maybe you should try running, because throwing the ball is not going that well. All right, now, final point here. A viral clip from the past weekend in the NFL shows Caleb Williams, I don't know if you saw this or not, in that Bears game with the Colts. He gets all fed up with the OC, Shane Waldron, the old Seahawk and Ram coach. So what do you make of that? He seemed pretty upset. He had a lot of gyrations there, Caleb Williams. So the way I interpreted it, and the way what I make of the video clip, is Caleb Williams, he went Ted Nugent. Little cat scratch fever is where he went, right? Bad body language, pouty face. Now, I'm an amateur lip reader, and based on what I was able to determine from looking at Caleb Williams and his verbal diatribe, his question was, what are we doing? That's what it looked like to me. So based on that, and the Bears off to a terrible start offensively in terms of the passing game this year. They play the Rams this weekend, so things should get a bit easier. The Rams have no defense. They are brutal. I don't know how they beat the 49ers. They can't stop the pass at all. But that's a different conversation. But anyway, so Caleb Williams, he's upset. He appears to be already fed up with his coach, his direct coach, the offensive coordinator there in Chicago. So the obvious thing is, well, that didn't take very long. The Bears have the NFL's 25th ranked passing offense. It's only been 3 games. All right, well, that's every team's played the same amount of games. And the Bears are 25th out of 32. And they had the number one overall pick. And never played before this year in the NFL, obviously, Caleb Williams. And he obviously, based on his body language, thinks he knows more than the offensive coordinator. Maybe he does, but here's the other thing, right? I'm pretty sure the Bears do allow their quarterback to audible. So, now not all the time, but if the play's that bad, the play being called is that terrible, isn't it possible that you would be able to audible out of it and, I don't know, call a different play, change the play at the line of scrimmage? Or do they not trust Caleb Williams to do that? Who knows? Inquiring minds would like to know.